Welcome to Things My Mother Forgot to Mention.
The podcast where we say everything our mothers didn't.
I'm Jan, a trauma therapist and author turned rogue storyteller, here to talk openly about the body, aging, and all the, wait, what? Moments of womanhood.
And I'm Patti, an online business and tech nerd whose purpose is to elevate the voices of women in our world and who doesn't believe in taboo topics. Things My Mother Forgot to Mention is the podcast for every woman who's ever said, wait, why didn't anyone mention this to me?
Join Jan and Patti, two outspoken, curious, outrageous women, as they dive headfirst into a messy, magical, and often WTF realities of aging, health, and quite simply being a woman.
From rogue chin hairs and vaginal thinning
to mental health, perimenopause, and scalp cancer. Yes, really.
Nothing is off limits. It's funny, it's raw, it's real talk your mother definitely skipped.
Let's get into it.
Hey, Jan.
Hey, Patti. I'm so glad to be working with you on this project. It's really exciting.
Yeah, me too. I'm like, when you first brought this up, I got insanely excited about doing this.
No, I couldn't sleep after that. But I have to tell you, for the last, I'd say, year and a half, I've talked to a lot of my girlfriends who are therapists and told them that I was going to do this. And they're all like, oh, Jan, you have to do this. You have to do this. And it's finally manifesting into something that's actually happening.
I know. I was on it immediately. As soon as you said it, I'm like, I will volunteer to do it. And somehow I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden it was I'm a co-host with it and I'm here for it. So I'm very excited.
That's great. No, I have been thinking of this since I've been a therapist, a trauma therapist for 30 years. And it's serious business when you're doing some of that work. And now this is too. I mean, we're going to talk real stories about real women, including myself. And this has been a challenge too, but I really need to really get the message to people because I think so many women don't know what's happening when they start going through changes of life.
Yeah, and throughout life in general though, right? Like I think that's part of this is all the stuff that we just don't talk about very much. And I think especially like as we were younger and you and I are different ages, but when we were
We
younger,
are?
yeah, we are. Um, like even then, right? Like people weren't talking about things
Hmm.
the way that they talk about it now. There's a lot more, I think, accessibility because of social media and just sort of the internet in general that
Right.
wasn't there when we were both younger. And so we were sort of navigating some of this stuff before in the long time ago, the before times, the long ago when there wasn't, we had to look for like an encyclopedia and who's looking up, menstruation or masturbation in an encyclopedia. Right?
Right. Nobody did that. I remember those encyclopedias. I remember when I was in eighth grade going to the card catalog file in the library, looking things up and feeling shame because I'm looking up menstruation or looking up period or tampon or something. And now it's like all you do is it takes like 1 second to look it up on, Chat GPT or on Google. It's
Yeah.
amazing. And
Yeah.
so that's the kind of stuff we're going to talk about because my mother forgot to mention a lot of things.
Yeah.
And yes, I am a little bit older than you are. I won't exactly say how old I am, but I was from the 50s. So I have a lot of experience. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm from the 80s. I don't mind, I'm 44. So I'm like in the age of people starting to be in perimenopause and in all of that. And so it's, a new time for for me and what I'm experiencing and all my friends are experiencing. So I'm excited to sort of dive into all of that. Do you want to start by telling everybody a little bit about you, Jan?
Oh gosh. That's a big topic. Let's see. I will say I am in my 70s, which is hard to believe, by the way. Every time I look in the mirror, I'm thinking, does that really, really happen to me? When I was younger, I never thought I'd get that old. And here I am with all this experience. And I started out, finishing college and I became a flight attendant. So I don't know if you ever knew that. I was a flight
No.
attendant. I flew for TWA Airlines, which is no longer. And then after that, I got into high tech and I started doing a lot of sales in high tech and then running marketing and sales for a high tech firm and then computer training. And then I decided to go back to graduate school somewhere in, gosh, I don't even know, like 35 years ago. And I decided to become a licensed mental health counselor. So once I did that, I've pretty much stayed doing that for 30 years and working with my colleague Brick, who you know, Patty.
Yeah.
And we created Healing Our Core Issues Institute, which we train therapists in childhood and developmental trauma. And let's see, what else have I done? I've gotten married. I've had two sons and have been through many experiences with what that's all about, which at some point we'll be talking about. But for the most part, I feel like in my wisdom years I'm in now, I have a lot to offer people, not only on the mental health side, but also on what women go through every day and their stories.
Yeah. I did not know that you did computery things.
I know, isn't that crazy? I mean, I think that's what, as a therapist, most mental health professionals do not know computers, as you probably know, and they're challenged. And so I have that advantage, and that's really helped me in my whole career. So,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
how about you, Patty? I never even knew your history. What is that?
Yeah, yeah. So I was born in a cold, rainy day. No. So-
In a cabin out in the woods.
yeah, so I have my own business myself, but I started basically out of high school. I was like, I didn't like school very much. I wasn't very good in, well, whatever. I cut school a lot, so I struggled, but so I just started work right away, and I ended up after a couple years, I did like retail stuff and kind of the basics. But I had done theater tech in high school, and I fell in love with it. So I had done stage managing and some lighting and stuff. And so I kind of decided I didn't want to be in corporate world after doing some corporate retail stuff
Yeah, yeah.
and changed my resume just to put like lighting and soundboard operator at the top. And a little theater hired me, a nonprofit theater in San Francisco hired me, which is where I lived for 25 years. And I worked there, but I've always ended up in management positions. So I ended up being an operations manager there, but I also became a lighting designer and ran tons of shows there. And it was
Wow.
mostly solo performance stuff. And one of my favorite things is I got to go around the country on a bus. We did like a tour of a show that we created for a winery that was celebrating their like 150th anniversary or something in Sonoma County in California. So that was really fun. We did for 2 weeks, we'd like shower in truck stops and it was it was
Oh,
really
that's
fun. Yeah.
pleasant.
It was a whole situation. But anyway, so I did that for about 10 years and then I've always felt like my purpose was to help people in some way. I thought forever I was going to be a psychologist since I was young.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be a teacher, and then I changed it to psychology when I had some really amazing therapists. And so when I was in my early 30s, I went to school. Left my theater and I went to school full time to become a psychologist. But I'd always been doing business stuff on the side while I was working at the theater because I was in San Francisco and I had to make money on the side. And so I just sort of basically made it through my AA in psychology and whatever things happened and money and whatever. And I realized that I loved business a ton and I was really good at it.
Well, you're really good at it.
Yeah, thank you. And tech, and I really love tech. And so I was like, I've been doing this stuff on the side forever. Let's just do it. And so I started my business, Biz Magic, and I've been doing that we're gonna go on 8 years this year.
Hey,
And yeah, so
Patty, we're a perfect match for each other.
yeah.
I was in tech doing training for computers and marketing and social media and did all that kind of stuff, and then decided to do the graduate degree and then in psychology. And so here it is, I am, and yours is just the other way. So
Oh.
we're a perfect match.
I know, yeah. Which I think we should say that how we know each other is Jan started as one of my clients back in like what did we say 6 years ago now, I think.
Years, I think.
6 or 7 years ago. And I started working with Jan kind of more as like a virtual assistant in a way, is kind of how it was. And yeah, we've continued working together and I've been supporting Jan. Jan does these amazing workshops where she trains, she and her partner, business partner Rick, train other therapists in this particular modality. And I get to sit in on all of these workshops that happen like 4 times a year over Zoom and watch all of this amazingness happen. And so, yeah, so
Yeah,
that's how I know each
you've helped me with the book I've written
other.
and revising, and you've helped me with the directory I have. You've helped me with my consultation. You've helped me with my workshops what I do with Rick. You've helped me in my private practice. You've helped me with everything.
Yeah, I love it. I mean,
You're my foundation. You're my spinal cord. You're my like backbone. Everything revolves around what you've helped me with.
I
So,
love that. And I think what's really cool about what we're doing too is that we've only really worked together in this capacity and we don't really know each other super well, like outside
you're
of
gonna
that.
get to
So,
know.
yeah, and it's kind of fun that as our audience who listens to us gets to know us, we are going to get to know each other too, which I think is
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I love
I'm
it. And
really
I think
looking forward to it.
yeah, me too. So I think it's going to be very exciting. And I think we're both really into talking about things that not everybody talks about and not being afraid to use the words that are the actual words for things and talk about all of it and not have it be uncomfortable or taboo or scary. Or maybe it's all of those things and we talk about it anyway.
Yeah, and we talk about it anyway. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what therapy is all about, is you have to talk about it anyway. Even though it's tough, you still get through it. And a lot of these things we're going to talk about are tough, and we are going to talk about them, and we're going to also be interviewing the stories of other women who have gone through different um, topics that we're going to be covering. And I'm really excited about that because they're just real women with real issues, and we're going to talk about it. So,
Yeah, I love it. So I'm super excited to do this, and I hope everybody who's listening right now continues to tune in to future episodes as we kind of figure out how we're gonna go about it all and get our jam moving. And either way, it's gonna be fun and goofy and interesting and educational, and I think it's gonna be really powerful.
yeah. Yeah. So, thanks, Patty, for, you know, joining my dream, which you had the same dream, and we just decided to combine them. So, thank you.
Thank you.